3, 2, 1. Ready? MACtion.
It's going to be tipped and caught! It's caught! It's caught in the touchdown, Western Times!
Daniel out of the pocket. He's going to try and run for it. Breaking tackle. Down. He gets popped. He lost the football.
And he scores! On the last play of the game! Unbelievable! Holy guacamole! Watch this hit right here! By Dejan Anthony. He said, "Get that man some milk!"
Don't you dare skip that channel. You are tuned in live with Talking MACtion.
Two fierce rivals, separated by just 21 miles, are set to clash once again. Legendary coaches Nick Saban and Urban Meyer have once roamed down the sidelines in these iconic MAC showdowns. With a trip to Detroit on the line, every snap will count this Saturday at the Glass Bowl. Can Bowling Green turn their season around? Will Toledo punch their ticket to the MAC championship for the third straight year? Records won't matter when the Falcons soar down I-75 to face off against the Toledo Rockets. So tighten your bootstraps and get ready for MAC Showdown.
Welcome on in to Talking MACtion. We are back. We took a 2-week hiatus. Last week had some technical difficulties. The week before had to take the week off of all coverage. But here we are back with Talking MACtion. We have an exciting one, and if things went right, you just heard some really cool imaging and some really cool music from Trayvon DeVito, who he made the intro that you just listened to as well, but the imaging you just heard, also a big part of what he does and how he helps me out. Make sure to check him out. GIF Rap is his artist name on YouTube. Check that out. He does a lot of help for me, and good friend from home. So it's nice anytime you can reconnect with someone and they can help you out in any way possible. So we have a intriguing week, or I mean intriguing. Boy, do we got the Battle of I-75 coming up. How can you not be excited about that matchup? Two teams, you have Bowling Green kind of trying to get back into contention for the MAC title. It's not out of the possibilities, but they have to play pretty pitch perfect from here on out. While you have a Toledo team where they get a big win last week. Can they stack wins? The past 2 years in a row for the Battle of I-75, it's been the away team that's won, and it's been through comebacks. Really excited to see this game. First time I'll be able to see it in person. And shut that. First time I'll be able to see that in person. Seeing Bowling Green versus Toledo. So we'll have a live article for that on Keon Sports page. Again, this is the Across the Sports World YouTube, but that's a game that we're going to preview. We're going to go over last week, go over my power rankings, which will be out when you're listening and viewing this video. So make sure to look at that as well. Let's talk about some of last week's games. Had some good ones last week. Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, a close victory for Eastern Michigan. Huge fourth quarter for Cole Snyder and his Eagles. They are 5-2 on the year now. Central Michigan 3-4. It's been up and down the season for the Chips, but for the Eagles, it's been everything they wanted. They are 1 win away from going to a bowl. They could be the very first team to find out if they will be bowling this year. Toledo they are battling for that next week too. Everyone else either has 4 or less wins, so we still have some weeks until some other teams figure out if they will be bowling or not. Yeah, Cole Snyder, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, impressive day. Let's see what he had with his feet. When it comes to Cole Snyder, sometimes his feet. Wow, this game was in favor of Central Michigan. They had a 99.2% chance in the fourth quarter, and it swung back into the favor of Eastern Michigan at the very end. Wow. So let's see how many rushing yards. Cole Snyder, he had 17 carries, 48 yards, a touchdown on the ground. So he had 4 touchdowns in total and an interception. Birdie Manuel, he was only 3 it was 3 for 4, only 92 yards. Seems like they were mainly on the ground, and only 12 total passing attempts, with Tyler Jefferson throwing 8 total attempts as well. Only 8 total attempts. And Marion Luke's 13 carries, 118 yards for him. He averaged 9. Delbert Mims the third, 21 carries, 90 yards. Good day for him. No touchdowns other than Cole Snyder on the ground. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this for Eastern Michigan. 5 wins here earlier in the season. Really everything they could have dreamed of. A lot of people had them having a really bad year this year, but Eastern Michigan, they are having a good year, and they have really boosted themselves in my power rankings. The previous week they were 5th, so you have to check where they are. You'll find out here in a little bit. Ohio and Miami. Big matchup between those two. Miami ends up taking the cake. They needed that win desperately. Breck Abbott, 178 yards, 3 touchdowns. They are fighting to get back into the conversation for the MAC championship game. And it starts here as they're going to keep on looking for that next week. Mosey, 16 carries, 111 yards. Ohio's struggling. They're looking for a wide receiver to make a big impact. Still struggling for that. Let's see who their leading receiver was. Rodney Harris, the second, was the leading receiver. 7 receptions, 82 yards, but no touchdowns from him. Let's see. Navarro, he was 13 for 22, but Nick Palos, 9 for 21 as well. Palos had 93 yards on just his 9 completions. Navarro had 2 interceptions. He struggled on a day with a QBR of 27.2. Not the production you want from your QB1. Ohio has some questions going forward that they're going to need answered. Kent State and Bowling Green. If you listened to me when I said I think Kent will cover, well, I hope you didn't take that. That offense was bad. They fall to 0-7. Bowling Green still in contention for the MAC title. Wow, they scored 20 points in the first half and then topped it off with a touchdown at the end. Didn't need any more than that. Hanfin Jr., 10 receptions, 171 yards. No touchdowns on the day, it seems. Let's see. No, it was Malcolm Johnson and Jamal Johnson. Those two were the ones to get it done. But came to rushing. It was nice seeing Terrion Stewart get 25 carries and 124 yards. Good day for him. No touchdowns. It was good to see him back behind the quarterback and getting reps and playing consistently. He's been in and out all year. Jason Patterson, 6 carries, 25 yards. His production is going to go down with Stewart back there and hopefully healthy for a long time. So Bowling Green, big game, a must-win for them. More of a must-win for Bowling Green than it is for Toledo. Excited to see how that game turns out. Western Michigan and Buffalo into a game that was going to bolster somebody into the top of the rankings, and that is Western Michigan. They are 4-3 now after starting off slow. They're undefeated in the MAC, and I'll tell you now, they had the biggest jump in my power rankings. And there's a reason why. When you win 48-41 against a really, really good Buffalo defense, it shows why. You have 41 points to Buffalo. Not a big fan of Ogbonna, 309 yards and 2 touchdowns off 22 completions and 34 attempts. But Jaden Nixon, not the guy that you thought would be their leading rusher for Western Michigan. you expected that to be Jalen Buckley, pardon me. He had 13 carries compared to Nixon's 14, but he only had 56 yards, pardon me, to the 112 of Nixon. But Jordan Park had some carries. Zaire Abdus Salam, he had 22 yards off 5 carries. Brock Clary got a handful of carries too. And then you had Wolf. He had negative 14, probably came off of sacks there. Listen, Western Michigan was a dark horse to be in this MAC championship. So again, if you listen to some preseason stuff, it shouldn't be a surprise where they're at. This is a team that they're a good team. They had a really tough schedule to begin with, and now they're starting to roll. And speaking of rolling, Toledo, they beat NIU 13-6. Hoist had 22 completions. Wow. He had 210 yards. He threw the ball 46 times. This is a NIU team that is struggling without their main quarterback. And you know what they say? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. Gleason no longer the starter. John Allen Reicher, he is the starter there. And then when it came to rushing, Connor Wowzak and Clark, your 2 leading rushers, not the guys that you expected to be the leading rushers for this team coming in. Surprised with that. Stewart must be hurt. Would have to look at that. But yeah, I mean, both teams battling injuries, little quarterback changes, despite the winning that either team has done. But NIU dropped the big one. Now they're going to be fighting an uphill battle the rest of the way, try to get in the bowl game contention. This one I'm not going to talk about too much. Ball State just unlucky playing Vanderbilt in the middle of the year. Really strange they're playing a SEC team in the middle of the season. Usually those are just reserved for your like UConns and independent teams. 24-14 was the score. Diego Pavia destroyed Ball State, 17 completions off 31 attempts, 275 yards, just a touchdown. But he also had 13 rushes for 82 yards and 1 touchdown as well. Let's move on to the power rankings to see where some of these teams end up in my view, so you can kind of get more of an understanding of where I view some of these teams and where I have some of them going. So let's look. This will be released later once it's finished. Again, all the rankings are finalized, but the descriptions of why they're at their each spot. Western Michigan, they're 4-3. They jump 5 spots. No surprise there if you've been following. Buffalo, they're 4-3. They drop a spot. When you lose to when you lose to a team that now drops to the top, you got to drop below them. Toledo, they drop a spot, not despite the effort, but I think Buffalo and Western Michigan are just better right now, despite Toledo only having 2 losses. Eastern Michigan 5-2, they move up a spot. NIU drops 2 spots. Miami, they go up 2 spots. Ohio drops 3 spots. Bowling Green, they drop 1 spot. In Central Michigan, they drop 2 spots. Ball State stands still. So does Akron at 2-5 and 1-6 apiece. And then Kent State, they stay dead even at 0-7, as they are one of the first teams in the country to no longer be eligible for a bowl game. That's bad. So they only played 7 games, 2 bye weeks. 7 games, 2 bye weeks, and they are already out of bowl contention, which makes them one of the worst teams in the entire country. That's not good if you're Kent State. Kenny Burns has a lot of questions to answer. I'm sure that he's disappointed. I know he was hoping for some wins this year. They've had some losses with injuries, especially losing 2 quarterbacks. This is a team that is just struggling to put the pieces together, and it's showing. They may not win a game unless they can beat Akron. And Akron seems like a better team, but Akron also only has 1 win, and it's against a FCS team. Akron has not improved since 2018 when the slump started, 2019 when the slump started. This team's been bad. And again, to Joe Moorhead, a little further down in his coaching tenure with Akron. We'll see if they give him another year. If he doesn't win the wagon wheel, who knows if he'll be back next year, or maybe they'll say, hey, feel free to take another job. I like Joe Moorhead. He's a good coach. He has great offensive play designer and good game caller, but he's just not breaking it there. And I don't know why. I don't have an explanation for it. All I know is that this is not the season Akron wanted. You get a quarterback from Cal, you think he might be the answer, and Ben Finley has struggled, and he hasn't been the answer. Again, at least Kent's had the excuse of injuries at quarterbacks, and they're starting running back Garcia out as well. But Akron, no excuses. They started off strong, battling Ohio State, and now after an FCS win early on, they've been struggling bad. And again, they stand still because they had a bye week. Again, nothing much they can do there. But they do have a game this week that will be big for them. Be interested to see if they can win there. But first, we'll talk about Buffalo and Ohio. Both these teams need a win if they want to be in contention for the MAC title. Buffalo 2-1, Ohio 2-1. Again, this won't be a super long episode. We're only about 14. Oh, what is it? 14 minutes in? Yeah, just about 14 minutes in. So we won't be too much longer here. Quick episode. Buffalo and Ohio. I like Buffalo to win outright. I take Buffalo. The spread is -6 in favor of Ohio. I'll take Ogbonna and the Buffalo Bulls. They've been playing well despite the loss last week. I'll take them over Ohio, who's been up and down all year. Central Michigan, they will travel to Oxford as they will take on Miami. For this one, so I would take Central Michigan to cover. It's the spread is Miami -12. I think I would take that, but I would take Miami to win this game. Maybe take the under on 46.5 in the points total. I do like that. Eastern Michigan, they'll travel to Akron. Cole Snyder looking to have a field day against Akron if he can. Should be a beautiful 67-degree day in Infocision. I'm going to say it. And I didn't say it before, but I predict Buffalo to win. I predict Miami to win. This one, I predict Akron to win at home. It's a big one. They need it for some confidence. Again, they won't be bowl eligible. I think they're going to lose at least one more game, at the very least. But I do think that they're going to win this game against Eastern Michigan, who's been on a roll. But I think Akron, they're going to stop them dead in their tracks. Ball State and NIU, this is the battle for the bronze stock. NIU, I think that they're going to beat Ball State. NIU is going to cover at 11. Actually, you know what? Ball State's going to cover that 11.5 in favor of NIU. And let's see, this game's going to go over the point total of 47.5, but I pick NIU to win the bronze stock. Kent State, they take on Western Michigan. This will be at Kalamazoo at Waldo Stadium. I'd take Western Michigan -18. And the point total 60.5. I would take the under. We could see one where Kent doesn't score a lot because they get stalemated. And the one we've been waiting for. I mean, I'm excited for this one. Finally get to see it. 2 years ago, wasn't able to go. Weather was bad. Held me at home. Wasn't able to go last year. But this year, it's going to be a fun one. The spread is -2.5 in favor of Toledo. The total points is 49.5. Over total 49.5 points. I'll guarantee you it's over 49.5. This is going to be a shootout. Always is. I'm going to take Bowling Green to win this game. The away team has won 2 years in a row. Make it 3. Fannin Jr. is going to have a field day. Stewart's going to have a great day. And Basilek, he's going to protect the ball. Only 4 interceptions on the year. He's going to continue protecting the ball. And Bowling Green, they are going to win the Battle of I-75. And I don't think I've predicted Bowling Green to win the past 2 years. I've been very much against Bowling Green in the Battle of I-75. But I think this year, Bowling Green wins it. I've been very friendly towards Bowling Green. I've liked them the past few weeks. I mean, really all year I've liked them. This week, no different. I like Bowling Green to win. I think Basilik's going to have a great game. They're going to give the ball to Terry and Stewart constantly, and then Fannin Jr. I mean, he's the best tight end in the country, next to Galvin Bartholomew, but I think Fannin Jr. is a better pass catcher, a better downfield threat than he is. I think he's going to be the number one pass-catching tight end in the draft. I think if you're a coordinator that likes throwing the ball downfield and you want a tight end that does that, he's going to be the guy that you want. He's going to be phenomenal at the next level. I don't think anyone argues with that. I mean, God forbid they handed the ball off to him against Akron to win that one. So I'm going to take Bowling Green there. Take it or don't. But really excited for that. So that's it for this episode of Talking MACtion. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. Everything's going to start on Monday because midweek MACtion starts here soon. So make sure to follow, subscribe on the Across the Sports World. We have more content. I will not be anywhere, maybe somewhere next week. We'll have to check what's going on in the middle of the week. But Saturday, there's nothing going on. There'll be content on this page across the tailgate that will be up on Monday. Not this Monday, but next Monday in November. Excited about that content. Make sure to subscribe and click notifications so you can be locked in when those come out and any podcast that comes out as well. Thank you for watching. See you next week.